Hello, this is We Three Geeks. This is a new thing I'm trying to do here with some of my friends. We're going to talk about nerdy type stuff, geeky stuff, because that's just the way we roll here. He's really funny because he's laughing right now.
I'm not funny at all.
He's hilarious.
All right, why don't you maybe
go ahead and introduce yourself then.
I'm just the fat guy on the left, or you're right, I guess. That's what I am.
Okay. You have a name?
No.
You don't? Okay, this is Anthony Gerard here. This guy here.
Hi, my name's Cody.
And I'm Terrence Jensen. So we're just going to talk about a couple topics today. I think the first thing we're going to talk about, since today is Sunday, a special Sunday, it's actually WrestleMania today. So that's a thing. If you're into wrestling, some of you might be leaving right now already, but that's fair. Pro wrestling, that's a thing. We grew up on that stuff.
Yes, we did. You wanted to talk about Scott Hall and his recovery.
I did. So if you know who he is, I'm sure if you're into wrestling you do. Scott Hall, or you know him as Razor Ramon, he's been battling drugs, alcohol for a long time. And he's actually getting help from another wrestler. You know him, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. He was also one of his really good friends, and he's helping him now, trying to recover. He's actually doing something on Indiegogo. Actually, today's the last day for it. There's I think about 10 hours left. I'll leave a URL in the description so where you can go and see about that. 'Cause, I mean, by the time you get there, by the time this post, it'll be over with. But at least you can look up on him and see what he's trying to do, and he's real appreciative of everybody. It's been a good thing for him. But what do you think? You all know him a little bit.
Well, just not even just from a professional wrestling fan standpoint, just as a human standpoint, I'm glad to see that he's getting this stuff worked out, because I remember seeing I can't remember what it was. I didn't do my homework before this.
Right.
But there was an ESPN special a couple of years back that I remember seeing where he was just in terrible, terrible shape.
Yeah.
It just looked like that he was going to be dead within months.
Oh, yeah.
But just knowing that not only has he survived, he's thrived, how as corny as that phrase sounds.
Oh, no,
I'm
not
glad
corny
to
at
hear
all. I like corn, so.
Corn is
It is delicious.
We are in the
butter.
Cornhusker state,
Thank
so
you.
there you go.
Oh, we are in Nebraska. That's a thing.
It is a thing.
But what do you think, wrestling wise? I know you were kind of into it earlier. You're not as much now as kind of we
it's
are.
been
I guess,
years.
but
I know I think it was last year, I was at one of the pay-per-view events with you guys, and it feels like a different game now these days.
it is. That's one thing I wanted to mention. The differences between the wrestlers of old and the wrestlers of new, huge differences. I mean, these new wrestlers, they don't have these addiction issues as much as some of the older ones seem to have. Now, that's not necessarily completely true, but on all aspects,
there's things you don't hear about,
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm talking the general.
I don't want to put anyone under the bus, since I obviously am just a geek on the internet. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I can't say. I don't think you can say that nothing goes on behind the stage.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, I don't. I don't want to say
have
that
some sort of demons going
right.
on.
Well, I don't think they don't have their problems, but the fact that I think for them a big thing I've noticed is that they've got more support now.
Yeah.
First off, they're making better money. I mean, these guys
take better care of
Oh
themselves
yeah,
too.
Definitely. I mean,
They know that they can't go home and drink
Right.
beer. And
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of funny because I mean,
beer's awesome.
yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes with some of them now anymore, I think the biggest problem they have is wondering when they're going to play the next new Xbox 360 game or something.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put it in a perspective here. But
yeah, and I mean, with the advent of technology, I mean, you'll see The Rock talk about his Twitter account, and Facebook, and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the venue is a little bit different now, because of how they're trying to clean up the show and the technology that's developed since the early '90s, or
Right.
when I actually, last really watched it.
Sure. Yep.
It's been a while for me. I'll admit that.
But yeah, I guess that's something just kind of. Check out. Scott Hall's doing a good thing by getting himself better fit again, getting in a better place, especially mentally, because that's always something. But wrestling. Yeah, that's pro wrestling. If you have any thoughts or comments, go ahead and list them below, as you tend to do on these things. You wanted to talk about something. I think it was something about comic books.
Well, I don't know what I want to say. I wanted to talk about it, but one item that I'm kind of interested in is a DC just announced recently that they're going to have a digital first edition of Batman 66. What it is it's a new comic series that is set in the 1960s Batman series. It sounds kind of corny, it sounds kind of kitsch at first, but you think about it, what they could do with that, it sounds cool. You have these villains that are popular in Batman, the Batman mythology now, that weren't around in the 1966 series. I'm talking about like Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul, characters like that they can put in. I mean, how would they do that? Fit it into the campy 66 series, universe.
Yeah.
How would they do that? I think it's kind of an interesting subject. It does kind of seem a little desperate on DC's
the old
part.
school Pal Zam type of comic book.
Yeah, but I mean, you go back to it seems stupid now, but Fox Family Channel was the Family Channel then, or ABC Family. They aired a lot of reruns when we were all growing up.
It was all about family stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I went home every day and I watched the Batman 66 series. From my standpoint, I'm interested in just seeing how it looks.
I mean, you think that's a neat idea, going back and kind of revisiting?
Well, it seems like they're trying to dig at the bottom of the barrel with this kind of stuff, because it always felt like Batman was supposed to evolve. It was supposed to be an idea rather than just one character. Bruce Wayne is an interesting guy. I mean, he's got a lot of baggage on him. But, I mean, they always seem to recycle him. And they always seem to keep to the fact that it has to be Wayne instead of just somebody else.
I'm just
and
thinking,
when they do change it, okay, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking when you said like baggage and like recycling. I'm just thinking of like a can of Batman, and it's just like being dumped into
like empty cans of Batman. It's like here.
It's like we're done with all this Batman. We're going to recycle it. What are we going to use them for? How about green beans? Everybody loves green beans.
How much can we get in the state of Nebraska for a recycled Batman can?
Yeah.
Vintage.
I don't necessarily disagree with your point. I agree with it, but another point of view, though, I think it kind of shows on how universal the character is. I mean, it has survived the campy version, and it survived Burton's version, Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher, or Shoemaker, however you say his name.
Yes.
Christopher Nolan.
Shoot-de-doop-de.
I mean, so many different versions of Batman have thrived,
I know.
And
but
I think
it just feels like, with the character standpoint, because Batman is an idea, he is a symbol. Whereas Bruce Wayne has always been Batman, but he's just a human being with family issues. And that seems like you could evolve the character behind Batman a little bit. And that's kind of why I like some of the other series, like, this is kind of getting off the topic of comics and more into animated stuff, but
that's fine.
the Batman, I think it was Batman Beyond, the one where it's more futuristic. I really like that.
Terry McGinnis as Batman.
Because, I mean, it still involved Bruce Wayne, but he was more of a mentor figure. He was like this old soldier who was still gritty and he could still kick ass.
Right. But I mean, I guess I'm not really also the biggest comic book or avid comic book reader. It used to be more, I think, when I was younger, but I agree. I think it's neat that they're going back, kind of giving homage to the kind of really what really brought Batman out to the public through television, with the Adam West days. And that's I'm interested. I want to see it. I heard that their first bad guy is going to be the Riddler.
You know what they should do?
That'd be pretty could
You know what they should do? They should just create an animated Adam West and have him be the actual Batman.
That would be interesting. I'm surprised that they haven't done that yet.
I know, it'd be so hilarious.
I bet they did it in the 70s. There was like Super Friends and like the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, but I don't think that they've done it. Yeah, that's...
I would just be afraid he'd start becoming Mayor Adam West and start, piece of candy.
Like Family Guy.
Piece of candy, yeah.
I would love that. I would totally watch that.
I'd be like, oh, good, Batman. But anyway, so Batman. But we're going to move to a different topic now, into gaming, because I'm definitely feeling pretty good about this. I know I've got some nerd rage. EA. You wanted to talk about EA and just their terrible.
Yeah,
like
EA is pretty...
Charles Barkley now.
I mean...
terrible. Just terrible.
Yes. Took my jerk. Anyway,
Perfect.
Okay. I personally haven't picked up the latest SimCity, but I did pick up Dead Space 3, which, it's a good game. But EA just keeps fucking it up for some reason. It was weird hearing about all these crazy problems, and you might have heard this in other videos, but it's weird. With SimCity being released and everybody's had something to say about it. So this is just going to be general EA bashing, I think, on our part. But they just first it was the servers. Like the first month they nobody could play their fucking game because the servers kept breaking up, and it was everybody was pissed off about that. Mm-hmm. And then when they finally got the servers running, the game literally didn't work almost. Or almost literally didn't work, I suppose is the best way to
say it. What you're saying is that it's not working.
Apparently it's just not working.
No.
Like, reiterating a friend's story, they talked about how they set up a road system in their game. They were building their city, and the road system stopped working. And when the road system stopped working, they couldn't get people to like their schools and stuff, and education went down, like percentile wise. And when that happened, the current generations kept getting dumber and dumber, and then suddenly his nuclear plant, which was powering his city, couldn't be run by the people that were in it because they were too dumb to use the roads, and so they weren't able to run the nuclear plant. And so it goes nuclear, and it's like a widespread nuclear meltdown. It's just everything got fucked up.
So I mean, EA. I'm bashing on a little bit because they just keep doing things that they don't. I think they've completely forgot about the gamer. Like the whole your base for gaming companies is the gamer.
We are essentially wallets with money, and they need to squeeze the wallets to get the money out of it.
And that's what I'm saying. Me personally, my thing I had really wrong with them was, now this was a little while ago already, but it's still, people remember it because it was just that bad, and it was when BioWare with Mass Effect 3. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. The whole series, awesome, all of it. But the ending on 3 was just so God awful terrible. Yeah, I know some people are like, well, the ending was okay, and I know a lot of the big people who are out on in TV for gaming and stuff like that. Yeah. I know Adam Sessler was okay with the ending, apparently, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on it because I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But Game Informer loved it. I swear to God, I think EA paid him to say it because it just seems so stupid. There's no way that any respectable person who loves storytelling is like, oh, this is all very technologically sci-fi. There's no magic in it. And then you get to the end, and then all of a sudden, Jesus Christ, David Blaine shows up and is like, I'm going to freeze myself for 40 days. That was the game. I hate you, David Blaine. That's who EA is to me. EA is David Blaine, and we're talking. That nerd rage.
Indeed.
So that was terrible. I think EA did that just because they want to make more money off of the DLC, and even though that kind of backfired for them, of course, because people wanted to get,
there are so many websites dedicated to changing the ending that they kind of had to give it a little bit.
Yeah, and they did. They tried to, it made it make more sense, which is good. I liked it. I did play through the alternate ending, which should have been more what the real one was. But that's my thing. I think EA just wants your money, so they released SimCity, the recent thing with Maxis, and they knew it was broken, but they didn't care because they knew you're going to give money to it because everybody wanted SimCity.
They were so set on this whole schedule thing where it's like, we need to get this out now, and we don't care about the problems because we'll just fix it in post, which post, in gaming terms, would mean throw all these patches at it and hope that it still kind of runs long enough for people to enjoy it for maybe a year before they move on to the next thing.
But anyway, but thank you for watching today. Yeah. So, tune in, next time when we do something else. I'll be doing more of these. I'm kind of testing the waters with these kind of things, but it's always interesting to hear what other people have to say. But post your comments on any of that stuff that we talked about today. I know I mentioned wrestling, the comic books, EA. I'm sure that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, pretty sure.
So you want to sign yourself off?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah, that's Anthony Gerard. Don't eat yellow snow.
Good times. Have fun.
Okay, that's Cody Meyer. I'm Terrence Jensen, but thank you.